Hello everybody, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Okay, well it's Wednesday today, so I thought rather than swap and change genres, I'd stick to one particular genre today. I'm going to stick to progressive rock. There's some fairly modern ones and there's some ones that go back a few years, you know. Okay, I'll just skip straight on with it, I think. Okay, the first one I've got is Marillion, This Strange Engine. This is a repress of the album. Excuse me. One of the reasons I picked it is because Pete Truas seems to think that the title track is one of their best songs, and I think really I tend to agree with that. This is certainly one of the best albums that they've done, I think, with Steve Hogarth, who's a great singer. Doesn't get the credit. There they are, in all their glory. This has been, like I said, spread out to a double album. The reason why they've done that is that there's a couple of live tracks on here from Montreal in 2009. Really nice. This was recorded originally between August and November 1996. Obviously the centerpiece is the title track. On here they've stretched it out to a whole side of the album. Very great track. It has lots of different pieces and passages to it that build to this massive crescendo. It really brings out the best of Hogarth and the rest of the band, I think. Again, Rother is playing on here. It's very good. This is not like others. It's not themed in any way, really. So the individual pieces, which is good. They're all lengthy pieces, I have to say. Another, I think Estonia is such a great track as well. Memory of Water, they bring a string quartet into the mix on that one. That's a very nice track. A Man of the Thousand Voices, that particular track they're still playing to this day now. It's a very firm favourite with the fans that they've got. One Fine Day is a great ballad. 80 Days, An Accidental Man, and another sing-along here, which again they still perform a lot, is Hope for the Future. It's a good sing-along song, that one. But this the title track is a great piece of music. It's about 15 minutes long, very symphonic in the way that it's made up. Don't know if they've got. Let me just try and look and see if they've got. Yeah, that's another picture in the album, and then you've got the lyrics to This Strange Engine. It's like I said, it's about 15 minutes long. Builds and builds. It's a great track. They're all on the top of the game, I think, on this. Really like this in a cover. Great cover there. But yes, I think it's one of their better albums. It didn't do as well as later albums, I don't think, really. But it's a very well put together album. It's great individual songs rather than a theme running through the whole album, which some of them are, you know. They're great individual songs that stand the test of time. So this is my first choice then, Marillion, This Strange Engine. Good tip. Okay, right, well, we're going right back to the 70s here. This album it reminds me a lot of a real classic album, and that's Dark Side of the Moon. And the album I'm referring to is the Alan Parsons project, Pyramid. This has got some great tunes on there. He has got together a fantastic band. Just put this to one side. There he is. The whole album just sort of links, the pieces linked together in one sort of piece of music, you know, but they're all individual tracks in themselves. I think it's one of the best that they've done. There's some fantastic musicians on here. Colin Brunson sings on a couple of tracks. What a great voice he's got. And then he's still got, you know, elements of the musicians that he had on his previous albums. So people like David Payton are still on here. Duncan Mackay, great keyboard player. But I think one of the strengths of the album is the way that they bring the whole orchestra and the choral, English choral people in to give a lot of power and emotion to the songs. It's conducted by Andrew Powell, as the previous albums were. Obviously, you know, it's the main honchos are Alan Parsons and Eric Wolfson. No longer with us, unfortunately. But there's some fabulous tracks on here. The first side, Voyager, merges into What Goes Up. Great track. The Eagle Will Rise is a fabulous song. One More River, and then Can't Take It With You. That's the first side. You turn the thing over and you've got this fantastic instrumental, In the Lap of the Gods. And then that goes into Pyromania. Hyper Gamma Space is another fantastic instrumental. And then Shadow of a Lonely Man, which is, it's Colin Brunson on that one. As you would expect, this sounds absolutely amazing. It would do. Alan Parsons producing the thing. Recorded at Abbey Road Studios between September 77 and February 78. So spent a couple of months on it. And of course, when you've got the Abbey Road Studio to your fingertips, you're going to get good quality sound. This is great. Sounds nearly as good, if not as good, as Dark Side of the Moon. It's got some references to that there, I think. Show you this cover again. That's a great cover. And this was let me work it out now, their third album. Great album. I think it's one of the most popular ones, actually. But it's progressive rock mixed with a little bit of pop music, I would say. It's certainly mainstream, you know, it's not in your face prog, really. It's got a lot of melody in there, great songwriting. And it's a lovely listen. Great listen. So that's my second choice then, Alan Parsons project, Pyramid. Right, we're coming sort of near enough bang up to date here. This group should be more well known than what they are, actually, because they're a sort of super group in modern day prog. terms. We're talking The New Gods. This is their second album. Love the title. Tardigrades will inherit the earth. And that's typical Nick Beggs. And Nick Beggs, for those people that don't know him, he started off in, of all groups, Kajagoogoo, but is certainly now the bass stick player of choice for a lot of people, not least Steve Hackett and Stephen Wilson, and he's part of Stephen Wilson's touring band. He's played on a lot of Stephen's albums, not least his latest one, actually. But the rest of the, it's a trio. And the other chap that's on here is Roger King, and Roger King has played for a long time with Steve Hackett. Fantastic keyboard player. But the other monster on here is Marco Miniman, one of the finest drummers on the planet at the moment. You know, there's a lot of talk going around about Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson coming back together, and what drummer would they go with? You know, and Marco comes up quite a few times. He will be up for the job, I think, because he's such a fabulous drummer. So you've got these three elements in there, and it's mainly the songs are mainly written by Nick, with a lot of tongue-in-cheek humour, some dark humour going on, but ultimately, you know, we're talking progressive rock here. This is a fabulous album. It's a double album on vinyl, of course, you know. And they do include, if you want to go and get this, you get the CD inside as well, which is great. The tracks, I think that if you're a bit of a prog head, I think the tracks that would connect with you would be The Dumbing of the Stupid, the title track, and the other one that would you know, sort of connect with you would be Animal Army. This is a tremendous package, great sounding album. Yeah, it's funny in places. It's progressive rock, proper progressive rock, you know, but with a bit of melody, with a bit of humour as well. I mean, Tardigrades will inherit the earth. I mean, mad. Great video for that. It's very, very funny. But yes, there's some. It's just the three of them, really, yeah, and then make a huge sound. I'm not aware that they've done any touring, and I think that's because, you know, all three of them are very, very busy chappies, you know. Not least Nick Beggs is forever on tour with Steve Wilson. Roger King's always away with Steve Hackett. Well, Marco just plays with everybody. He's just an amazing drummer, you know. So it would be great if they were able to do a couple of live shows. I certainly would go and see them, you know. Lengthy pieces, you know. There's The Singing Fish of Batticola. That's the longest track on the album. Mad. It's a great song. It's a great piece of music. But it's funny. But it's great playing. I mean, Nick. You know, he plays things like an 8-string bass. Never heard of one of them before. But he's also playing guitar and keyboards as well. You know, he's all over the place. Very, very versatile. Great musician. And like I say, he's certainly the bass man of choice at the moment. Okay, so that's my third choice then. This is The Meat Gods, Tardigrades Will Inherit the Earth, from 2000 and... when's this from? Let's have a look. 2017, so this is their second album. They've made 3, so there's another one after this. Fourth choice then. Well, we are going right back to the 70s, and this is another band that should be more well known in the prog rock fraternity. They were very big in Germany because that's where they're from. And the band I'm talking about is Grobschnitt. And this fabulous album is called Rockpommel's Land. This is a repress, again. A lot of people, when they first saw this album cover, thought, oh, that's a lovely Roger Dean cover. Well, it's not. It's them taking the piss. It's the guitar player that does it. This lot really are, they do sing in English. There's a few tracks in German, but they are, if you love your classic Genesis Gabriel area period, then you're going to love this, because they are the German version of that particular period. Absolutely fantastic. Rockpommel's Land is 20 minutes. It's a whole side of the album. Well, near enough a whole side of the album. But most of the tracks on here are very long. The first side is Ernie's Riser, which is Ernie's Journey, which is 11 minutes, and then Severity Town, which is 10 minutes. That's on the first side of the original album. And then you get this beautiful sort of precursor, if you like, to Rockpommel's Land, which is Anywhere, which is 4 minutes. And then Rockpommel's Land itself is just under 20. So, the original album, you're getting your money's worth. The title track it's got all sorts of different build-ups. It's very theatrical, which Gabriel and Genesis were. But the whole band are theatrical. When they go out on tour, let me just give you an idea. When they went out on tour, they put on a massive show. There they are. The nutcases, a lot of them. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the sort of thing that you were getting, and they put on a massive show. So, you had acrobats on there, dancers, and the band were just getting dressed up as different characters. There were absolute nutcases. They certainly didn't take themselves serious at all. This particular album was produced by Connie Plank originally. And Connie Plank was, as probably we are all aware, responsible for some fantastic albums in the 70s into the 80s. So he was associated with Kraftwerk and Noe, Can, and a multitude of other groups. But this is not Can or Kraftwerk. This is German progressive rock of the highest standard. It really, really is. I have fond memories of going to see this lot live. Great album, this one. A lot of people seem to go for the live album, solo music live, but I do like this one. What they've done as well on these reissues, which are great, you've got a live version of the whole of the album. So side 2A is Ernie's Riser, Severity Town, and then Anywhere. And then on the second side, you've got a fantastic live version of Rockpommel's Land. And what they do as well, you get one black vinyl and then one white vinyl. So it's this black and white thing. Lovely. Really great touch. Guys, I don't know how freely available these releases are, but you know, I think this particular album, I would say, is a good introduction to the band. So if you want to start and, you know, and investigate this lot, I think this one is a great introduction to the band. Fantastic music. It's funny. There's a lot of humour in it. Great playing. As I've said, they don't take themselves seriously at all. Giving you an example, Earrock, the drummer, is on percussion, electronic effects, and the odd devicery brainwave. Lupo, who's the guitar player, acoustic lead, a duck bung-like background vocals, and 70 to 50 tour deals. Mist, who's the keyboard player, is the basic cover paintings, themes, and concept of the story. Popo, who's the bass guitar player, Avocado of the Vegetable and Other Kingdoms. Wildschwein, or Wild Pig, who's the lead vocalist, also plays electric and acoustic guitars, and Beer Annihilation. There you go. Wonderful stuff. If you want your prog with a lot of humour in it, a lot of theatrics in it, great playing, this band there for you. They're fabulous, fabulous stuff. Okay, the last one then is it's progressive rock, but it's very symphonic. Certainly these two, when they got together, they hadn't produced anything like this up to that point. And I'm talking about, there's no title on there, unfortunately. This is Storm Corrosion. And effectively, it's Stephen Wilson and Mikkel Ackerfeld from Opeth. There you are. Yeah. Stretched out to a double album. This is a wonderful piece of work. It was recorded between March 2010 and September 2011. So, you know, they worked a long time on it, and that was because, of course, they were both busy. Wilson with Porcupine Tree, and then obviously Ackerfeld with Opeth. You've got some great drumming on here from Gavin Allison. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. But what you've got as well is this massive orchestra on here as well. It's not a particularly long double album. I think it's stretched it out a little bit. You know, it's a single CD really, but it's a double album here. We've got the inner sleeves that you can have a look at. There's one of them. There you go. The first side is Drag Ropes, and that's the one that they made a fantastic video for. It's an animated video. There's another one. Another picture for you. The Drag Ropes thing is an animated video, which was the precursor to what Stephen Wilson did in his later videos, because not long after this, I think he did his last album with Porcupine Tree, and then he went solo, and he has done some amazing videos for his solo pieces, and one of the artists that he used, should say, was the artist that was used for this Drag Ropes video. If you don't know that video, I will try and post it for you. It's fabulous. It's very dark, very emotional, atmospheric, orchestral. There's a lot of space between the music. It's it's progressive in its makeup, but it's in some areas it's very avant-garde. So they've been listening to a lot of Can, a lot of Neu, definitely a lot of Neu, I think. Steve Reich. So it's very somber, very depressing. It's not an uplifting album at all. And you know, the pieces are all particularly long, so you have to take your time with it. You know, so you've got the drag ropes on the first side. The second side is Storm Corrosion. The third side has got 3 individual tracks on it: Ag, Happy, and Lockhowl. Those 3 tracks are very, very avant-garde in the way that they've been put together. And then side 4 is Libvit Inman, which again is a very orchestrally brought together piece. Very, very nice. There is talk that they're going to make another one, because we are talking 2011 here, so it's 10 years ago now since they came together. And you know, in many ways, I think this album brought out some very interesting ideas between the two of them, which certainly Wilson was to take forward to some of his albums that he did in his solo career. And in some ways, with Opeth as well, their later albums, the more modern albums, were again to become more melodic, more orchestral, and more atmospheric, whereas before they were a very dark, progressive metal band. Well, some of the materials not like that at all now. And it may be down to them working together on this album. Very unusual cover. I really like this cover. It's a very intense listen, you know, but the more you listen to it, the more you get out of it. I think it's one of these albums that grows on you. You know, I think if you've never heard this before, it could be a difficult listen for you, but worth it in the end. Beautiful orchestrations by the London Session Orchestra. So we're not mucking about here. We're getting top quality musicians in here. As I said, Gavin Harrison, some great drumming on him. But yes, there's some nice stuff on there. Nice stuff. But ultimately, it's a very dark album. So that's my last choice then. So just to go through them. Storm Corrosion, number 5. Number 4, the mighty Grobschnitt from Germany. Number 3, Mute Gods, Mute Drakes, wonderful group. Number 2, Alan Parsons Project, their 3rd album, Pyramid. Great album, this one. And then my first choice was, I can sort all this lot out, was Marillion. The wonderful This Strange Engine. There we are. So that's Wednesday's prog day. Tomorrow, I think I'll mix it up again, you know. And I just got a little bit of, I saw Mark Kelly and Pete Travis from Marillion talking about their favourite tracks from Marillion, and that got me to thinking, well, I'm going to play This Strange Engine again. And I thought, oh, right, okay. Let's have a look at some good quality prog rock albums that perhaps you might not be aware of. So there we are. There's my choices for today. Stay safe, everybody. The sun is out, so guess what? I'm getting on the bike again. Okay. Take care, stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget, please, if you watch the thing, leave a comment. You know, let me know what you think, good or bad or indifferent. Don't really care. But leave a comment. That'd be nice. Okay. Cheers, guys.